What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be very self-indulgent and unscripted, so if you're not into that kind of stuff you can just go ahead and click away. But lately I've been obsessed with these camera rig videos. I don't know what it is about someone just sitting there putting together a rig and talking about camera gear, but I find it really relaxing and it's kind of become part of my nightly routine. Just throwing on some YouTube, sitting there for like 20 minutes and just listening to someone yap. It's pretty nice. And if you've worked with me before and you know how I operate, you probably know that I've never really been a camera rig guy. I've just always kind of found it too cumbersome for the type of filmmaking I do, which is really run and gun. But after watching some videos, I started to realize that I was missing out on a lot of features that my camera has, which, if you haven't read the title yet, is the Lumix S5iiX. And speaking of the title, I know I'm probably going to make a lot of you mad by calling this the FX3 killer, but I really don't mean that in a negative way. In fact, I think in a lot of ways, the FX3 is better than my camera. But I think when you consider a lot of things like price, which by the way, if you put everything together in this rig, it's still cheaper than the FX3, and features like 6K open gate and external SSD and a lot of other stuff, it's really like no comparison in my opinion. You're just getting a lot more bang for your buck. But yeah, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Let's just go ahead and hop into the rig. All right, so here's everything that goes into my rig. This is just an overview of everything, but I'm gonna go ahead and just take everything out so that we can go over everything all at one time. All right, so to start off, obviously we are using the Lumix S5iiX, and like I said in the beginning, there's a lot of reasons why I love this camera. It has a nice black finish here. Flip this over here. Yeah, nothing much to say here. It's just kind of the camera. Next, I usually add on my lens, and the lens that I use pretty much 90% of the time is the Sigma 28-70. This is the lens that I got when I first bought the S5, just the regular S5, and it's been through a lot. As you can see, there's a crack right there in the center of the glass, but luckily it hasn't really done too much. Like when I record, I really just like don't even notice the glass, and as you can see, like this is really dirty. I've had this for a long time, and it's just really versatile, so it is definitely my most used lens that I pretty much have on. It's just very versatile, and f2.8, so it does pretty much everything I need it to. So the cage that I'm using is the Falcam F22. It's a little bit of an unorthodox pick, I think. I think most people tend to use the Black Mamba cage, but I actually got this one just because it was at my local camera store, and it was just the lens that they had available at the time. I'm struggling to put this on, I don't know why. There we go, okay. And this cage actually comes with one of these screwing mechanism things, which is really nice and helpful when putting together cages, so that's something I really like about it. And then we just have a screw here, and I'll go ahead and screw this in. One of the main reasons why I like this cage is because it has a very unique and just a user-friendly ecosystem, and it also has this removable piece right here. Sometimes you can put a piece on the side if you want to put a side handle on this side, but I decided to just take that off. A lot of cages, like they'll have something here and it just makes it harder to grip on the camera, but that's one of the reasons why I actually like this, is because you can remove this and you can just use the normal grip on the camera, which is what I prefer. I like to have kind of a tighter, smaller grip on it. That's just how I personally like it. But yeah, that is my cage that I use. For SD cards, I use just the SanDisk Extreme Pros, 128 gigabytes. With the S5iiX, we have dual SD slots, so I usually put this one in the first one, and then maybe just like a backup on the second one. This is like a 256 gigabyte one, and got that locked and loaded there. I use the Falcam side handle. Again, just talking about that ecosystem, it makes it very easy to put on and use. I could put this on the top. This part, I believe right here, this is what came with the side handle, and so that's how I just slide it on. It's super easy. All I gotta do is just slide it like this and it's on there. So it's that easy to put on. I can also put it up on the top just like this very easily. So if I were to shoot vertical content, that's something that I could do. And just that sliding mechanism just does so much. A lot of side handles you'll find, you'll have to just like screw them in manually with like one of these, which is not really optimal if you're trying to run and gun and switch things out a lot. So that's my side handle and I really like it. Next, we can kind of get into the battery. So for the battery mount, I use this. I believe this is the newer V-mount battery plate. And this is another reason why, just going back to the cage that I have, as you can see, there's like this indented area right here. And this is what makes it so easy to use. And one of the reasons why I love this cage is because this V-mount plate has just this slider here that's adjustable. And all I have to do to attach this is just slide it onto that indented part right there. So I just go ahead and lock that in place and twist this right here, twist this knob, and we're in business. It's that easy. And on the bottom of the V-mount plate, there is this slider here, and this just can attach to my RS3, and I can actually show you guys real quick how that works. So here is my RS3, and as you can see, there's like a sliding part right here, and then all I gotta do is just come here with this V-mount plate and slide it on, and we're in business. So I know it's a little bit hard to see here, but as you can see, that all comes together beautifully and just makes my job a lot easier because I don't have to take anything apart. So yeah, once I have that on, what I usually do is pull this back, bring the LCD screen out, and then push this back again. And then for my battery, this is the newer 50-watt V-mount battery. This is the one thing that I will probably upgrade in the future. It's only 50 watts, and it does go through pretty quickly. But for the job, it does work. It has USB-C and USB-A, I believe, whatever that is. And then it does have D-tap on the side here. And I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I use those later on. And then it also has some 8-volt and 12-volt DC outputs on the top there. So, but yeah, all I gotta do is just slide this on the back and it's attached just like that. All right, next we'll go ahead and do my top handle. So this is what attaches everything together. I believe this came with my top handle, but this is just, again, part of that FX3 ecosystem, and it just made everything easier. So all I gotta do is just slide this on the top. And then for the actual top handle, again, this is FX3. They make a ton of top handles. This is just the straight one that I use. And attached to it is actually this small rig. This is a power bank holder. It's not an actual SSD holder. And I attach it to the back of the top handle. I use this for my SSD, but I attached this. I just didn't really feel like taking it apart. So this just slides into the top, this curved piece right here that I just put on. It might be the other way actually. And boom, we have a top handle that goes here. Very nice. All right, so next we'll go ahead and get into my monitor. So I actually got this pretty recently. This is the Blackmagic Video Assist monitor, the 5-inch version. If I could go back, I probably would get the 7-inch version. What I do to mount this on is I go to the middle. I take this piece. This is part of the quick release system that I'm going to show you guys in a second. And all I do is I just screw this on to the bottom screw point here. Again, this is FX3. This is their quick release system. So this just goes onto the top of my top handle here, and I just slide this in. And I usually, what I do is I turn this knob, bend it back a little bit, and then all I gotta do is, since I have this mounted here, I just gotta slide this in right here, and we have our monitor attached. I can go ahead and turn this again and lock it in place so that this is nice and secure and it's not going to be moving around too much. So to power my monitor, I use this Condor Blue D-Tap system power cable thing. I don't know. I think Condor Blue is probably the most trusted brand for just D-Tap stuff, because D-Tap batteries are very hit or miss, so you got to make sure you got a good one. But this just attaches to the back of the monitor, so I just slide this in. So once I have that cable attached to the monitor, I just plug it into the D-Tap of this V-mount battery here, and now I have power. Go ahead and turn that on. All right, and then obviously, since I have a monitor, I have to get an HDMI cable. This is just a small rig HDMI cable that I got on Amazon. And one of the nice things about the S5iiX compared to the S5 is that it has a full-size HDMI slot, so I can just easily plug this into the side here. So I do a lot of external SSD recording, especially when I'm doing B-RAW, ProRes RAW, and just working with big files. So I like to use SSDs. This is the one that I use. This is the Samsung solid state drive. This is the 870 EVO. You might be wondering, Nick, why are you using this weird EVO SSD? Why not just use, one of these SanDisk ones? And I do use these sometimes, but I just prefer to use these when I'm editing. This is actually the SSD that I had when I had my Atomos Ninja 5, but I ended up switching to the Blackmagic because 1, I wanted to shoot B-RAW, and 2, the Ninja 5 just crapped out on me. So I ended up having to switch anyway. I honestly, ever since I switched back to Blackmagic for my monitor, I've realized that I really like Blackmagic monitors over Atomos. I think Atomos is they make it a lot more complicated than it needs to be. I feel like the Blackmagic menus are just a lot easier to navigate. I don't know, there's certain things that just annoy me about Atomos, their power button is just really weird. You have to double click it in order for it to work most of the time. And this is just one button. You just click one button and it turns on. There's just a lot of ease of use features that I like for it. So I just realized I made a mistake. So one of the things that I said earlier is if I could go back, I would get the 7-inch version. And this is one of the reasons why. If you try to plug in just a regular USB-C to the port, which is under here, right here, there's a USB port. You're not able to do it when you have a quick release mount like this. It just doesn't fit in there. This is too big, it gets in the way. So what I have to do is take this off and put this mount piece onto this one. So I'm gonna do that real quick. What happens a lot of the time is, since all of the weight is on this side right here, what happens a lot of the times is this monitor will start to sag. I don't even really know if the 7-inch would solve that problem. I'm assuming it would, just because I'm assuming there's more room on the bottom there. But just keep that in mind when you're thinking about getting a monitor like this, like the Blackmagic ones. 1, the screen's gonna be a lot bigger, and 2, you won't have this problem with the USB. So yeah, once I get that on though, I can just plug that in there and we have external SSD recording. And that is pretty much everything that goes into my cinema rig, I believe. So one thing I forgot to mention in this video was my microphone. As you can see, this cage has a really convenient cold shoe mount on the side, and that's where I would usually mount the mic. But to be honest, most of the time I just have this off. One reason being is most of the time I'm shooting music videos, so I don't really need a microphone, but when I am shooting something different like an interview or social media content, I usually just go for the Rode Wireless Go's, which I think just sound a lot better. But yeah, the microphone I use is the Comica V30, I believe. I'll leave a link in the description. But yeah guys, that's going to conclude the video. I really love this rig, and if you're interested in any of the components I mentioned, I'm going to leave a link below to all of them. And yeah, like I said, when you add everything up together in this rig, it comes out to $3,894, which sounds like a lot of money, but really when you add everything together, it's still less than the FX3 body alone. And yeah, again, this video is not a comparison video comparing the two cameras, but if you guys want to see that and get more of my take on it and my opinion, let me know in the comments below, but just know I'm probably going to be a little biased. But yeah, I think that's going to conclude the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.